Hello, you're watching Daily News on Allnews Nigeria. I am Okoyemi Olubimi. Here are the headlines for today. Supreme Court rules against NAIRA swap deadline. SANWO-OLU announces relief fund for LAGOSIANS. INEC wants CBN NAIRA scarcity may SCUTTLE elections. Welcome back. Now the news in detail. The Supreme Court has temporarily altered the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN's) effort to discontinue the use of old 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes by Friday, February 10, 2023. Leading a 7-member panel, Justice John Okoro granted an ex parte application brought to the court by governors of Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara states.
So we invoked the powers of the Supreme Court to hear this application. The reason for it is that as well-intentioned as this policy of federal government of the design is working hardship all over the country. As we can all see, banks are being harassed, Nigerians are suffering needless, especially the downtrodden. Those in the urban areas, they're having problems, but it's more excruciating at the rural area. So these three state governments, Kaduna, Zamfara, and Kogi, deem it fit for us to invoke the powers of the Supreme Court to intervene. And the Supreme Court has not just the final court, but a court of policy in its considered ruling, saw merits in our application and restrained the federal government and by extension the Central Bank of Nigeria from desisting from going ahead on 10th of February that the supply of the new notes will stop.
The Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mustafa, counsel for the applicants on Wednesday, prayed the courts to grant the application in the interest of Nigerians. He said the policy led to an excruciating situation that is almost leading to anarchy in the land. The three states had applied for an order of interim injunction restraining the federal government through the Central Bank of Nigeria or the commercial banks from suspending or determining or ending on February 10, 2023, the time frame with which the now older version of the 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 denomination of the naira may no longer be legal tender, pending the hearing and determination of their motion on notice for interlocutory injunction. Following the Supreme Court order, some Kogi residents were seen celebrating the temporary end to the naira swap debacle in the state. The Supreme Court adjourned hearing until February 15, 2023. Meanwhile, some protesters on Wednesday besieged the headquarters of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) and the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, following a ruling of the Supreme Court on a deadline for use of old naira notes. One of the leaders of the protesters said President Muhammadu Buhari should issue an executive order maintaining the previous date as a deadline for the use of old naira notes. According to them, the ruling was not legal, adding that by the injunction, the apex court would enable politicians to buy votes. Moving on, the Lagos state government has announced 50% cut in fares on all transport services run by the government for 7 days. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the state governor, announced this on Wednesday, saying it was the state government's way of alleviating the pain and suffering of residents amid the current naira and fuel scarcity experienced in the country.
Boats and all of our last mile buses and small buses that we have in the state, that they should be carrying passengers at 50% of the current fare, and this will continue to happen using their cowrie card, and we want to further make the cowrie card available to all willing citizens. We have over 3 million cowrie cards that are out there that are being used. We believe that we'll even make it a lot more available. And so for the next 1 week, on all of the passenger routes within all of our buses and our ferries and our taxis, passengers will enjoy a 50% discount from tomorrow morning immediately.
According to him, the currency exchange and the fuel situation have no doubt raised the tension in the land. Finally, on the news, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned that with only 16 days to the general elections, the new NAIRA note scarcity may disrupt the exercise. The chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, at a meeting with the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele at the CBN headquarters in Abuja on Tuesday, noted that the importance of having sufficient cash available. He explained that many service providers to INEC had no bank accounts. He therefore solicited the support of the Apex Bank to address the concerns related to the CBN cash withdrawal policy, which had caused chaos across the country. That's it on today's news. Join us tomorrow for more news updates. You can also follow us on all social media platforms displayed on the screen. I am Opeyemi Olubemi. Do have a good day.